Africa. A vast land of contrasts and challenges. And one ancient order of monkey has conquered almost all of it. The baboon. They've thrived on the continent for over 2 million years. An animal so adaptable, it has succeeded wherever it has set foot. This is their story. In Ethiopia, the desert troop defends a precious oasis. On the coast of South Africa, the beach troop share their home with human neighbors. In the Highlands, the mountain band must choose between 2 leaders. And in Botswana, the river troop encounter a dangerous threat. 4 families living in 4 different worlds. But each prevails by following the rules of the troop. It's early morning, and the beach troop, a family of Chakma baboons, emerge from their sleeping cave, ready to search out some breakfast. Chakma baboons live in the high coastal mountains of the Cape Peninsula, right down to the Atlantic Ocean. They're one of 5 species of baboon found across Africa, and they share their territory with another primate. Humans. Living with these 2-legged neighbors brings a unique set of challenges and opportunities. The beach troop aren't heading straight to the beach. Instead, they're taking a detour via suburbia, tempted by the rich pickings on offer. An elder climbs a tree to see if the coast is clear. When he's satisfied, he calls the rest of the beach troop. The fruiting trees planted here are an easy snack. Everyone tucks in. But as they feed, they're lured deeper and deeper into their neighbor's territory. Dried seed pods hide nutritious delicacies inside. Baboons are opportunists. They seek out food from a variety of sources to help them regulate a balanced diet. And in this human world, this resourcefulness can pay off. These man-made fortresses offer another bounty: junk food. As the family tuck into the seed pods, a young male hits the jackpot. It's a chance to stake his claim. If only he can open the lid. Bingo. But with the puzzle solved, a larger and more dominant male arrives on the scene. Under baboon rules, the strongest eat first. Each member has its place in the family hierarchy. While some feed, others take time out in the shade to groom and bond. These youngsters still rely on mum's milk, so don't need to forage. They have more time to cause trouble. The beach troop's cover is blown. It's time to move on. "6,000 kilometers north in Ethiopia lie the Simien Mountains. A gathering of over 100 Gelada graze peacefully in a high-altitude meadow. These distinctive primates were once thought to be a separate baboon species until they were given their own classification. While their baboon relatives eat a wide variety of food, Gelada favor just a single type. 90% of their diet is grass, and they're uniquely adapted for a life in the mountain meadows. The family spends 10 hours a day foraging, using their short, stubby fingers to pick the tastiest stems. As with their close baboon cousins, they're led by an alpha. He claims sole access to the females. But they are actually the ones who run the show, by electing him their leader. If the alpha wants to retain his post at the top and mate with the females, he must keep them happy. His reward for doing so surrounds him. Every infant in the meadow is his. The longer he remains alpha by keeping the peace, the longer his bloodline will grow. The magic ingredient to Gelada life is grooming. And everyone joins in. Removing ticks and fleas is a serious business. But there's more to this ritual than keeping their coats clean. It's essential for emotional bonding. Geladas also soothe each other through vocal grooming. Gentle gurgles and lip smacks up the feel-good factor. But something has put the family on edge. They've noticed an intruder. There's trouble in paradise. The lone male has dispersed from a neighboring family of geladas. He's looking to win a troop of his own and has his eye on the alpha's top spot. If the females take a liking to the newcomer, they will oust their leader. But there are rules for a takeover, and the stranger needs to play by them if he is to impress the females. The battle for the throne won't rely on a backyard brawl. The rules of the Gelada troop are more subtle than that. The winning male is the one who cultivates the biggest fan base among the females. The alpha will need to break out his fanciest moves to stay in their good graces. He's not ready to give up his title yet. "3,000 meters below, life is much tougher for the inhabitants of the arid Awash desert. 750 square kilometers of scrubland and plains are fed by a solitary river. Hamadryas baboons are the most northerly species of baboon in the world. Adapted to live in harsh climates and semi-arid lands. The key to the success of baboons is living in a troop. Cooperation and competition lie at the heart of family life. These tough conditions have given rise to tough rules. Their 10-year-old alpha got to the top of the heap the hard way, through aggression. Rule number 1 here: learn how to fight and stand up for yourself. It's never too early to start training. Close by, a desert oasis offers a lifeline for the troop. It provides a bounty of plants, fruit, insects, eggs, and small mammals, and a constant water source. It's a territory worth defending. The alpha holds dominion in this valley, but as he grows older, his title as leader is harder to hold on to. Males only live to around 20 years old, and there are other strong males rising through the ranks. A challenge is inevitable. He's on high alert. If he shows any signs of weakness, his reign could be over. The mighty Chobe River. A life force that runs over 700 kilometers through Angola, Zambia, and Botswana. For this infant, the lush riverbanks make an ideal playground as he takes his first step towards independence. He's a member of the River Troop, a family of over 100 grey-footed chacma baboons. But this riverine wilderness masks a threat. It has one of the highest densities of predators in the world. To survive here means learning some tough life lessons, and class starts at a young age. While the troops spread out to forage, the youngsters make their own discovery. A fallen log. Time to let off some steam. Only one male of the new generation will ascend to the throne. Learning how to hold your own from a young age is vital. Nothing cramps style like your mother coming to break up the fun. Until he's old enough to fend for himself, just before his second birthday, it's her job to protect him. Unbeknownst to the troop, there's an intruder on the prowl. Given the opportunity, a leopard could easily drag away an unsuspecting youngster. The river troop is about to be tested. The beach troop have been caught deep inside human territory. The neighborhood dog sees the family on their way. Raiding trash is a risky business, and it doesn't provide the sustenance the family needs. They must look further afield. Nearby on the beach, an abundance of food awaits. But to get there, the troop must navigate a dangerous obstacle. One wrong move could mean the difference between life and death. The alpha has a difficult task ahead of him. The rules of the troop mean he is responsible for the well-being of the group. A busy road is one of the most dangerous challenges a baboon will ever face. It falls on the alpha's shoulders to guide the family to safety. But before he can cross, he waits for the rest of his troop to catch up. The warm tarmac is a comfy pit stop for a quick rest. They've learned the hard way to stay behind the line. The youngsters will need to watch their elders closely and learn the rules of the road if they're going to survive in a human world. In the highlands of Ethiopia, the mountain band quench their thirst at a stream. For the youngest members, it's an excuse to monkey around. This is a key stage in their development. The more they play, the more they stimulate the area of their brains responsible for learning. It will allow them to master their mountain home. But the adults are still on edge. The intruding male is still hanging around. He shakes a tree in a display of power. He still has his eye on the top spot. But the mountain band's alpha isn't going to give up his position so easily. The intruder knows to win this battle, he needs to impress the troop's females, not intimidate the males. To claim the throne, he must win their loyalty. His approach is to try and deploy a tactic of affection over violence. But the alpha is wise to his intentions and rounds up his most loyal females. The rival eyes him up from across the harem. Undeterred, he edges closer to show he means business. But the harem gathers behind their alpha, a clear show of support. Today they decide to stick with their king. The challenger leaves. And the alpha flaunts his victory. The rival's ego is more than a little bruised. But persistence is key. This was only the first attempt of many. Next time, he needs to rethink his strategy. Along the banks of the Chobe, the river troop are oblivious to an approaching leopard. A predator so strong, he can hunt an animal up to 3 times his own body weight. A small and vulnerable infant baboon makes a potentially easy target. The solitary leopard hunts by ambush, stalking his prey before launching a surprise attack. The thick riverine foliage offers the perfect camouflage. But for the baboons, living in a social group has distinct advantages. There are eyes everywhere. The alpha male sounds an alarm bark. The leopard's cover is blown. He's no match for an angry troop of baboons, and retreats. The infant is still a long way from independence, but the encounter with the leopard provides a valuable lesson. To survive, it's essential to cooperate and work as a team. Riled by the confrontation, the alpha's blood is up, and he's looking for a scapegoat. A young male is oblivious to his approach and fails to submit and move out of the way. It's a breach of the rules. He's punished for his lack of subservience. Subdued, he'll need to keep a low profile to earn a place back in the alpha's good graces. It's noon in the Awash desert. Despite soaring temperatures, the desert troop patrol their territory. It's the alpha's job to make sure they protect it from intruders. No part of their territory is more precious than the oasis. Once satisfied the perimeter is secure, the troops spread out. They're on the lookout for a desert delicacy. It's time to reap the benefits of their territory. The Dorum palm is found only in this area, and it's a highly prized food. For the majority of the year, the family feed on scrubby acacia trees. But once the Dorum palm fruits ripen, there's nowhere else they'd rather be. Thanks to this nutritious fruit, the desert troop is among the largest troops of Hamadryas baboons anywhere in Africa. The visit to the oasis is also a chance to wind down and to nurture. But even in this peaceful setting, the rules still apply. Fueled on fruit, the youngsters are ready to wrestle. The young males test each other in practice battles. Their rank in the troop will be determined by how well they perform. And this provides afternoon entertainment for the elders. With everyone distracted, a younger, upcoming male in the family spots a window opening. It could give him a surprise advantage. He's in his physical prime and has leadership in his sights. He approaches the alpha. It's a clear act of aggression. The alpha bears his large canine teeth. They're capable of inflicting serious injury. After years at the top, he doesn't show any sign of backing down. He remains undefeated, his display of ferocity another notch on his throne. His victory is a stark warning to any would-be challengers. He's not done yet, and retains control of the oasis and his family. The beach troop have regrouped. They're heading towards the coast. But first, they must cross a dangerous road. The alpha spots a lull in the traffic. But it doesn't last long. Now it's each to their own to find their way to the other side. and the threat of approaching cars can't distract the youngsters from a play fight. Finally, the alpha gains some control and successfully guides his family across. With the survival lesson under their belt, it's a clear path to the beach. Now, they'll spend the rest of the day reaping the rewards of the shoreline, safe from the threat of cars. Trash may be good as a stopgap, but the lunch menu is much more appealing. Natural food is always a healthier choice. The alpha tucks in first, and the rest of the family follow. They search tidal pools for the juicy flesh of limpets and mussels, and hunt out sand fleas hidden under rotting seaweed. The troop gorge on the fresh bounty. The baboons of the Cape Coast are specialists, and the only baboons known to forage for seafood. A behavior that provides a glimpse into human history. This adaptability is a trait shared by all primates. Today, the beach troop have learned to coexist with their human neighbors. But in order to survive, they must continue to reap the rich bounty of their natural world, instead of succumbing to new temptations. On the banks of the Chobe River, class continues. Earlier, the river troop successfully chased a leopard away. And for now, the infant is safe to play. He joins in with the others to explore the forest playground, as they fight, climb, tussle, and test the limits of their bodies. These lessons are vital for learning their place in the troop as they grow up. But in his quest to prove himself among his peers, the infant takes it a step too far, or a branch too high. Once again, a protective mother knows when to step in. As the youngest family member grows in confidence, he's learning there's a fine line between dependence and independence. And to survive, he needs to rely on his family. As he grows up, the river troop will provide him both protection and competition. And even if he has what it takes to reach the top, it's only half the battle. The most difficult thing in baboon society isn't becoming alpha, it's staying alpha. By late afternoon, all seems peaceful in the mountain meadows of Ethiopia. While the adults graze and groom, for the babies, it's a chance to resume their play. By the age of 4, the males will leave the family and form bachelor groups while they wait for an opportunity to take over a family of their own. At the same age, the females will begin to mate and raise offspring of their own. But for now, it's all about having fun. Even the alpha takes a moment to sit back, safe in the knowledge his harem is secure. But he can never truly let his guard down. Despite failing at his first attempt, the lone outsider is not giving up. If he can recruit a harem of his own that's large enough, he may be able to challenge the throne. The only way to do this is to start all over again, one member at a time. He finds his target, an older female that has wandered from the alpha. If he can win her affections, it'll be a good start. He quickly begins to groom her. It's a risky move that could end in a fight. And it draws more attention than expected. The alpha notices. The final rule of the troop, when the path of peace fails, it's time to flex some muscles. The outsider takes refuge in a tree. He won't leave until the coast is clear. The alpha's show of dominance wins the day. Order is restored in the mountain band once more. The lone male will have to move on and try his luck elsewhere. Until he wins the support of a harem, he's destined to scour the Highland peaks alone. In the valley, the dust settles on a restless day for the Hamadryas baboons. After squashing a challenge to his rule, the alpha of the desert troop retains control of his territory. He leads his family back to the cliffs to find a place to sleep for the night. Another day in command of the oasis. But with a rival waiting in the wings, the alpha needs to keep his guard up, or his victory will be short-lived. Across Africa, 4 families wind down as night approaches. Each preparing for another day full of challenges. On the Cape Coast, the beach troop return to their night quarters. They've made good use of a small cave, safe from the human world above and the ever-encroaching land of cars and concrete they've learned to navigate. The river troop prepare to roost high in trees, safe from the threat of predators below. The youngest of the river troop must rely on his elders for protection if he's to make it to adulthood. In an Ethiopian meadow, a Gelada alpha rests easy. His harem and his honor still intact. And in the deserts of Awash, an old king rests on his throne. The bond shared by his family is the fabric of every baboon society, and the secret to their success over millions of years. As they continue to adapt to new challenges, living each moment by the rules of the troop.